Welcome to our Weather Impact Report, where we take a look at the top weather stories here in Georgia and around the nation. I'm meteorologist Danielle Moss. This week brought a welcome breather, quiet skies across much of the region, and a chance to catch up after all the recent weather chaos. But even in calm weeks, there's plenty of weather to watch as we move deeper into fall. We didn't have a completely quiet weather week here in Georgia. Storms rolled across North Georgia Saturday evening, bringing some weather we have not had in a while. That's the sound of hail falling into a pool in Jackson County when storms hit the area on Saturday afternoon. That's not all the storms left behind in Jackson County. Emergency crews also found down poles in Commerce. We're told there were also some trees down in the area as well. All lanes on I-75 North, right near the airport, were closed for hours Saturday evening. Clayton County fire officials say crews were washing mulch and water off the interstate after a makeshift dam at a nearby construction site broke during the rain that afternoon. Take a look. This was a scene hours before the shutdown. A car ended up in water on I-75 North ramp near I-285 West. Crews found a Nissan Altima partly submerged, but the driver was able to make it out safely and no one else was hurt. But traffic was temporarily shut down while crews cleared the area. Search and rescue crews are looking for survivors from a deadly mudslide in western Kenya. In recent years, hundreds of people in Kenya have been killed in landslides and flooding. Scientists say climate change is causing more frequent extreme weather events in the area. Authorities say the massive mudslide has killed at least 15 people and more than 30 people were still missing. The fast-moving wall of mud hit in the early morning hours Saturday in a rural region following heavy rains. The mud flow ripped up massive trees by the roots and smashed into buildings. People were being told to head for higher ground.
We have been able to evacuate about 25 injured victims of this disaster, but we still also have more than 30 people who are missing. We can account for about 15 persons who have already died.
Now, as recovery efforts continue in the wake of Hurricane Melissa, help is arriving from right here in Georgia. A relief flight packed with more than 150,000 emergency supplies took off from Amazon's disaster relief hub near Atlanta. That cargo included tarps, generators, water filters, and hygiene kits, all critical for communities in Jamaica that were hit hard by the storm. This mission also marked a major milestone. It was Amazon's first international deployment of disaster relief technology. Employees from across Georgia, Virginia, and Florida volunteered to help load and coordinate the supplies. Well, hidden flood risk in western North Carolina came to light after Hurricane Helene, and aging dams that couldn't withstand record rainfall were brought to light. Reporter Liz McLaughlin shows us the growing risk across North Carolina and the race to fix it.
When Helene tore through western North Carolina, this dam couldn't hold back the floodwater. The failure here at Lake Craig, one of more than 40 across the state, and experts say it won't be the last if aging infrastructure isn't strengthened for the storms ahead.
The cracked concrete still bears the scars of the storm.
A lot of debris built up behind this dam and it just overwhelmed it.
Erin McCombs lives just downstream from Asheville's Lake Craig Dam, where Helene ripped through last year, overwhelming the infrastructure and taking a bridge out with it.
A common misconception is that all dams provide a flood control benefit, and that isn't true. For run-of-river dams that are the vast majority of dams, it's water in, water out.
McCombs works with American Rivers to remove aging, unsafe dams. The failure in her own backyard makes that mission personal.
We removed a couple of dams up on the Watauga River before Helene hit, and we saw that those projects saved lives and protected critical infrastructure.
That played out at Wards Mill Dam in Sugar Grove. It came out in 2021, and resident John Council says that likely spared his community after Helene still sent water rushing into his home.
The general analysis is that the flood would have crested 12 to 15 feet higher than it did on the day had the dam still been there.
State lawmakers recently approved $10 million for damaged dams, funding that advocates call a first step, not a finish line.
It's because the safest dam is a dam that isn't there anymore.
With thousands of dams across North Carolina and removal averaging about $1 million each, state leaders now face a tough question: which communities get protected first?
We really shouldn't be in a position where we're juggling those risks.
State leaders hope the new funding for dam repair and removals will help prevent disasters like this, but advocates say it's only a down payment on what's needed to protect communities in a changing climate.
Well, North Carolina has identified more than 100 high hazard dams in need of upgrades, and emergency inspections are still underway after Hurricane Helene. Well, after more than 200 years in existence, the Maine-based Farmers' Almanac has announced it is ending operations. The Almanac's editors announced that the 2026 edition will be their last, citing financial challenges. Their website will remain operational through the end of December. The news was a blow to the fans of the publication that was first printed in 1818. It's probably best known for its long-term weather predictions, but also provided information on astronomical facts and a variety of other topics, such as the best days to ski, brew beer, or plant tomatoes. Now, to avoid confusion, the Farmer's Almanac is different from the Vermont-based Old Farmer's Almanac, which was first published in 1792. That publication released a statement after hearing the news to assure its readers that it, quote, will be around for generations to come. Well, snacks and science, they're converging in the middle of the country. Brad Hicks shows how satellites are helping farmers gain valuable insights from space.
If you've ever eaten Doritos, good chance Joe Walgren grew the corn in those chips.
We grow a lot of grain for them.
He doesn't just harvest with his combine, he collects information.
It's just a wonderful tool to gather data.
And farming on the scale he does, good data can save dollars. But for decades, a key piece of that data puzzle has been missing. Farmers could measure how much water they pumped, but not where that water was going.
Just because the water gets poured onto the field doesn't mean the crop is actually consuming that water.
And across the High Plains, that's a problem. The High Plains Aquifer, the biggest in America, holds a lot of water.
You could fill several of the Great Lakes.
But some parts have become dangerously overdrawn.
There's areas where we've pumped so much water that we can't get water out of it anymore.
So to better measure where the water is going, Jim Schneider and his team are looking to the sky.
They've been flying these satellites around the Earth since 1985. It's called the Landsat satellites.
The satellites use thermal sensors to measure evapotranspiration, ET, which shows how much water crops and soil are sending back into the atmosphere.
ET is usually the missing component to balance the water budget.
But until recently, that information wasn't widely available. A cooperative effort called OpenET is changing that. OpenET puts the Landsat information in a format farmers can actually use.
The lighter yellow colors are less ET and the darker is more ET. If you zoom in, you can see that it's being measured on a field-by-field basis.
So it's literally telling us how much water the crops are using. It's really beyond what we were ever able to do in the past.
That's better data. That's actionable data.
A little science in your snack coming from space. In Nebraska, Brad Hicks reporting.
Well, for many Americans, including those of us here in Georgia, it will soon be time to get out those winter coats if you haven't already. A cold front is on the way, moving into parts of the U.S., which will deliver blasts of Arctic air, typically not felt until December. This front will start near the North Pole and head into the northern U.S. before it spreads further south and east. Most areas east of the Rockies could be in line for temperatures to drop 10 to 15 degrees lower than normal for this time of the year. As far south as Texas, residents may see temperatures at or below freezing, and Buffalo, New York could feel temps in the 20s by Monday morning. Some areas may also see some snow. The cold snap won't be here long. By Tuesday and Wednesday, temperatures should return to normal for this time of the year. Well, that's it for this week's Weather Impact Report. As those temperatures dip, make sure to bundle up and don't forget to check on your neighbors, especially the elderly or anyone who might need a little extra help staying warm. Take care of yourselves with your Weather Impact Report. I'm meteorologist Danielle Moss.